Have you ever had someone who used to text you every day, laugh with you, share things with you, and then suddenly become distant? No arguments, no warning, no explanation. One day they seem interested, and the next it's like you're talking to a completely different person. Most people assume the worst. They must hate me. I must have done something wrong. They found someone better. But what if the real reason is something most people never think about? Today we're uncovering the hidden psychology behind why people suddenly go cold on you. And the answer may completely change the way you see certain relationships. Because sometimes their distance isn't really about you at all. Let's get into it. The first thing most people get wrong. When someone suddenly changes toward us, our brain immediately starts looking for reasons. We replay conversations, we analyze messages, we search for mistakes. This happens because humans naturally seek closure. We want explanations. But here's the problem. Many people go cold long before they actually stop talking. The emotional shift often happens internally first. By the time you notice the distance, they've already been mentally pulling away for weeks or even months. And that leads us to the first hidden reason. 1. They were never as invested as you thought. This is a difficult truth, but it's incredibly common. Sometimes people enjoy your presence, your attention, or your company without being as emotionally attached as you are. They may genuinely like you. They may enjoy talking to you, but their level of investment isn't the same. Imagine two people carrying a table. One person is holding most of the weight while the other carries very little. Everything seems fine until one person lets go. Suddenly, the imbalance becomes obvious. Many relationships feel balanced until one person stops making the effort. And that's when the coldness becomes visible. Not because they changed, but because their commitment was never where you thought it was. 2. They associate you with a phase they want to leave behind. People often connect certain individuals with specific chapters of their lives. A friendship formed during a difficult period, a relationship tied to a certain job, a connection built during a stressful season. When people start reinventing themselves, they sometimes distance themselves from reminders of their past. Not because those people did anything wrong, but because they want a psychological, fresh start. You may remind them of who they used to be, and sometimes people create distance from those reminders. It's painful, but it happens more often than most realize. 3. They are dealing with something they don't know how to explain. Not everyone processes stress openly. Some people talk when they're struggling, others disappear. When anxiety, burnout, financial pressure, family problems, or emotional exhaustion hit, certain people retreat into themselves. They stop texting, they avoid conversations, they become less available. To outsiders, it looks cold, but internally they're simply overwhelmed. This doesn't excuse ignoring people indefinitely, but it helps explain why sudden distance isn't always personal. Sometimes the person isn't withdrawing from you, they're withdrawing from everyone. If you've ever experienced someone suddenly becoming distant, comment below with one word: cold. I'm curious how many people have gone through this experience, and if you're enjoying videos that uncover the hidden psychology behind everyday human behavior, make sure to like this video and subscribe to Hidden Mind so you don't miss future insights. Now let's continue. 4. They feel guilty around you. This reason surprises many people. Sometimes people become cold because they feel uncomfortable with their own actions. Maybe they broke a promise, maybe they disappointed you, maybe they know they've treated you unfairly. Instead of facing the situation, they avoid it. Why? Because avoidance feels easier than accountability. Think about how some people avoid eye contact after doing something wrong. Adults often do the same thing emotionally. Distance becomes their escape route. The colder they become, the less they have to confront their guilt. Ironically, their behavior may reveal more about their conscience than about your worth. 5. The relationship became too real. Not everyone is comfortable with emotional closeness. In psychology, this is sometimes linked to fear of vulnerability. Some people enjoy connection up until it requires deeper emotional investment. Everything feels great during casual conversations, but once genuine attachment develops, they become uncomfortable. Suddenly they pull back. Suddenly they're harder to reach. Suddenly they're busy. Why? Because real emotional intimacy requires trust, openness, and vulnerability. And for some people, that's terrifying. The closer they feel, the stronger their urge to create distance. This is one reason why someone can appear interested one moment and cold the next. 6. Expectations started to feel like pressure. Relationships often change when expectations grow. At first, communication feels natural. Then it starts feeling required. At first, helping feels voluntary. Then it feels expected. Humans value freedom. When someone feels trapped by expectations, whether real or imagined, they may start pulling away. The strange part, you may not even realize you're creating pressure. Simple questions like, "Why didn't you reply? Are you ignoring me? What's wrong?" can sometimes make overwhelmed people withdraw even more. The more pressure they feel, the more distance they create. 7. They found comfort in predictability. This hidden reason is rarely discussed. People often chase what feels exciting and new, but once something becomes predictable, some individuals stop appreciating it. Psychologists call this adaptation. Humans quickly get used to things that once excited them. A new friendship, a new relationship, a new opportunity, the novelty fades. Unfortunately, some people mistake this loss of excitement for a loss of connection. Instead of nurturing the relationship, they drift away. Not because the relationship became worse, but because it became familiar. 8. They're protecting themselves from future pain. Sometimes people leave before they believe they'll be left. They create distance before anyone else can. This behavior often comes from past emotional wounds. People who have experienced betrayal, abandonment, or heartbreak may become hypersensitive to potential rejection. Even healthy relationships can trigger fear, so they pull away first. From the outside, it looks confusing, but internally they're trying to avoid getting hurt again. The sad reality is that the protection they seek often creates the very loneliness they fear. What you should do when someone goes cold. Here's the part many people need to hear. Not every relationship is meant to be chased. If someone becomes distant, constantly pursuing them often makes things worse. Instead, pay attention to patterns. Respect their space. Communicate honestly. And most importantly, don't make their behavior the measure of your value. Someone's inability to show up consistently does not automatically mean you're unworthy of connection. People withdraw for countless reasons. Some have nothing to do with you. Some have everything to do with their own internal struggles. The key is learning the difference. The next time someone suddenly goes cold on you, remember this. What looks like rejection on the surface is often much more complicated underneath. It could be guilt, stress, fear, emotional avoidance, personal growth, past wounds, or a struggle they're fighting silently. Human behavior is rarely as simple as it appears, and the more we understand the hidden reasons behind people's actions, the less likely we are to blame ourselves for things we didn't cause. If this video made you see certain relationships differently, hit the like button and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Subscribe to Hidden Mind for more psychology insights that uncover what people think, feel, and do, but rarely say out loud. And before you go, tell me in the comments, have you ever had someone suddenly go cold on you without explanation? What do you think was the real reason? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.